This screencast will take you through a few key points you should consider when choosing journals in which to publish the papers you'll be writing out of and after you have finished your thesis. Our advice is to watch the video on plotting a paper from your thesis first, and then come back here to consider the advice on where to publish it. Once you have plotted a paper outline and argument, you need to think quite carefully about the audience for your argument. Who should read your work? What debate or conversation in your field is your work referencing? What journals are you reading? This is the best place to start. We write for readers, so we need to think about who our readers are and where we might connect with them. We recommend finding at least 2 possible journals for your paper before you write the paper, so that you can tailor the paper to your proposed audience and keep in mind technical details such as word count, referencing style, and so on as you write. Start with journals you like to read and where you have found papers that you have cited in your own research. Then Google a few of them. I'm going to do this demonstration with Teaching in Higher Education, which is a journal I read often. It is published by Taylor and Francis, a UK-based publisher. Start with the aims and scope. Look carefully at how the journal describes itself and what kinds of work it publishes. You need to be clear on this so that you can honestly appraise your own work and see if it's a good fit with the journal. If it is not, you'll need to keep looking. Finding the right home for your research can take time, so you need to set aside time for these searches. Once you have found a journal whose aims and scope match the focus of your paper, look at recent issues and see what kinds of work they are publishing. If you can cite a few of these papers legitimately using them to support your argument, this is a good idea. It shows the editors that your paper contributes to a body of work they are already publishing. This is not essential though, so if it feels like fraud, rather don't do it. When you have assured yourself that this journal may well fit with your work, consider a few other important issues. First, how often does the journal publish? If there are less than 4 issues per year, it may take longer to see your work in print. Second, do they publish online and in print? If they publish online and in print or online only, this is better for you as your work can be published faster and will be more visible and searchable. Third, is the journal well indexed? Indices like ISI, IBSS, Scopus, the Directory of Open Access Journals, and so on, represent a mark of quality. A journal has to apply for listing on these indices and is stringently assessed before this is granted. Well-indexed journals also have more visible and findable content. Fourthly, is the journal closed or open access? More and more academic authors are choosing open access, as this makes their work more accessible and free to other scholars. The more people read your work, the more likely it is to be cited and used in other research. Open access usually also allows you to retain copyright of your article too. Fifthly, are there page fees or costs to publishing open access? Look at these very carefully, as sometimes the costs are really high, running into thousands of pounds, euros, or dollars. You should check with your university research office to see if they will cover these costs should your paper be published, and what their guidelines are before sending in your paper. Sixth, is there a call for a special issue into which your paper would fit? It is sometimes easier to be published in a special issue, and they garner high readership typically. Consider sending the editor an abstract so that they can give you early feedback. Seventh and finally, consider the journal's connections with social media and altmetrics, which measure readership, reach, and citations. Does the journal connect with Twitter, Google+, RSS feeds, and so on? The more savvy the journal is in using social media and alternative metrics for promoting the work that they publish, the more likely your paper is to be seen and read by scholars in your field. This is not an exhaustive list of considerations when choosing a journal in which to publish. There may well be field-specific concerns in the natural or social sciences that your supervisors, mentors, or published peers could add to this initial list of points to think about. It is important to do your homework well, as making the wrong choice can set you back should the first journal reject your paper and advise you to send it elsewhere. Remember that if at first you don't succeed, Take the feedback on board and keep trying. You will get there.